to another Laravel tutorial. If you followed the previous lesson and you did your homework, you probably have something like this. The My Application, title, whatever style he inherited from the welcome page, and then 3 links going to the blog, about, and contact page. I didn't style these pages at all, so we can go to the blog, to the about page, and to the contact page, and this is just an H1 title with the actual name of the page. And if we take a look at the structure of my file, it's pretty simple. I have inside the views 3 pages going about, blog, and contact. In the web route, I define the about, content, and blog get requests going to the pages about, content, and blog, of course. And in the index.blade.php, which is the default one, I'm pointing these 3 links simply with a / and then the name of the page. Well, this is not correct to do. I mean, it's correct for now because our structure is really simple and we're not handling dynamic links. So let me show you what I mean by using a blade partial. So for example, if now I want this menu being present in every single page in the about, blog, and contact, I don't want to actually copy paste this menu and put it manually in every page because it's not scalable and non-maintainable on the long run. So let's start using the real reason why Laravel comes with the blade template engine, or let's generate a partial file that we can include dynamically in every single page. So let's create a new folder inside our views and let's call it partials. And here we can create a new file called nav.blade.php. You can call this file however you want, but always remember to put the extension blade.php, otherwise it won't work. Here from the index we can cut the links class and paste it here inside the nav, and let's indent it properly. Okay, that's it, we have this. Now we can simply use the @ symbol and then say include and specify the location of our file like we were specifying a route. So for example, we are in the index, our file inside the views partials blade, so include automatically starts from the views. We need to specify the partials directory, then period, and then the nav file, and semicolon at the end. If we save it and we go back into the home page, we refresh, of course, nothing happens here, or just the fact that we have a semicolon that we left there because, of course, and I forgot, the blade templates don't require a semicolon at the end of the PHP execution or whatever tag and template parts or methods we're using. We don't need to put the semicolon, which is super handy, so we won't forget about that. If we refresh once again, the semicolon disappeared. So now if I want to include this partial in all the other pages, I can simply do something like that. Let's go in the about page and put it right underneath. And it doesn't matter if I'm inside the pages folder subdirectory, the include starts immediately from the default folder, like the base folder of our views. So we don't have to write anything crazy like this to go back of a directory. This thing will take care automatically to get the proper file. And of course, if we access the about page, we're gonna have our blog, about, and content. So now we can include this partial on every other page. So for example, the blog and then the contact form. Perfect. Now if we try, we refresh, we are the about, yes, we have the menu, we have the menu, we have the menu. Perfect, everything works. And of course, if we click on these things here, it works as well because the file structure is really simple. But here we could stumble on a little problem because we manually wrote the location of that URL, that directory, for example, about, we wrote inside the nav file /blog. But what if, for example, in the future our application grows and changes and then our URL has to be changed to something like blog page, something like that. If we try to go to blog, of course, we're going to get a 404 because the name of the page or what we can get and catch from the route changed. And instead of trying to remember wherever we use the nav and trying to access this file and update the href to properly match whenever we change a route, we can actually name this route and reference the route via blade method. So for example, if I want to name this blog page something like this is my blog page, and I want to say to the nav, then instead of going to the href here, I can use the double curly brackets and say, hey, instead of tapping a URL, tap a route. And the route that I want to tap is the route named however I want. So for example, my blog page, something like that. Of course, if I access the website and I refresh, I'm going to get an error because the route my blog page is not defined. It doesn't exist. So in order to define a route name, we can use a method chaining to our get method. So this is PHP object-oriented programming. The route is a class. We're tapping the get method, and then we can chain with a little dash and the greater than sign another method. And the method that we want to chain is the name method. So we're saying that to this route, whenever we get blog URL, we can name this my blog page, or we can name it whatever you want. In my case, I name it my blog page because I'm using it here. So now if we access back our URL, our website, and we refresh, now the blog works. And if we click here, it goes to the blog, of course. But if we change down the line, like passes a little bit of time, and we want to change the blog section to personal blog, something like that, so completely change the URL that we want to return for our user, it doesn't really matter because the name is always the same. So the blade template with the method route will print automatically whatever URL we specified. So if we access back here and we refresh, the blog now goes to personal blog, which is the new URL. Fantastic. We don't have to change and manage anything else. So why don't you do that before the next video? Access the web route and start naming all your routes, and remember to use the route method inside the blade template between the double curly brackets to tap the specific unique name that you're gonna define. Thank you guys for watching, and I talk to you in the next one.